What's up, guys? Boy Benny. They say that journalism is a dangerous profession, and while I agree with the premise, it's only dangerous for people that are practicing real journalism, like Tucker Carlson. Real journalism is speaking truth to power and informing people about the world around them and uncovering true things, whether those true things are uncomfortable or not. Ladies and gentlemen, true journalism is not sucking the toes of your billionaire funders and the powerful elite who run this country. And so Tucker Carlson going to Russia and exposing a different side of the Russia-Ukraine war is in fact real journalism. And it is in fact dangerous for Tucker Carlson to do this, but not dangerous in the way that Western powers would tell you it is. Apparently, ladies and gentlemen, Tucker Carlson was nearly killed while he was in Russia interviewing Vladimir Putin. This is breaking just from seconds ago. Ukraine apparently hired an assassin to kill Tucker Carlson for daring to interview this world leader. Something that many, many other journalists have done from credentialed news outlets. But Tucker Carlson, who's on a Ukrainian hit list, was apparently the target of an assassination plot just for doing this interview, which has 200 million views at time of recording right now, 313,000 retweets, 1 million likes. So somebody didn't want this message getting out, or another side of the conversation being heard. And that somebody was apparently Ukraine. Attempted assassination of Tucker Carlson. A man has just been arrested in Moscow accused of being paid by Ukrainian intelligence to plant an explosive device on Tucker Carlson's vehicle and assassinate the prominent American journalist while he was there to interview Vladimir Putin. There's more to the story, ladies and gentlemen. Tucker Carlson assassination plot foiled. Russian forces reportedly arrested a man who planned the attack on Tucker Carlson, allegedly orchestrated by Ukrainians' intelligence. The plot allegedly involved an IED targeting Carlson's vehicle at the Four Seasons Hotel. The suspect admitted to receiving $4,000 for the attack execution after being caught, according to Intel Drop. Wow. So this is the Intel Drop that has sourced the actual information with apparently photos of the IED here. Good God. And the cameras. Russian counter-terrorist unit prevented a terrorist attack on Tucker Carlson planned by the main directorate of intelligence of Ukraine. One man is arrested on terrorism charges in Moscow. Apparently that man is right here in a YouTube video. That YouTube video is posted right here. We've watched it. It has subtitles in it. And the man says that he was paid by Ukraine to kill Tucker Carlson. Check this out.
88 года рождения, уроженец Подольска. В ноябре 23 года был завербован сотрудником ГУР Украины через сеть интернет. Проходил обучение работе спецспека со спецсвязью, сбора подрыва взрывных устройств, а также работе с тайниками. 31 января куратор получил задание забрать с тайника взрывное устройство и использовать его для подрыва автомобиля.
Что вам обещали?
Денежное вознаграждение $4000.
Где должно было быть применено взрывное устройство?
На подземной парковке отеля «Фашизм» в Москве необходимо было забрать взрывное устройство из тайника и заложить его под автотранспорт.
Против кого планировалось применить взрывное устройство?
Ну, сообщили.
Сейчас вы знаете, кто был целью?
Да, американский журналист Такер Карлсон.
Что пошло не так?
На этапе подготовки был задержан, содеянным раскаиваюсь.
So wait a second. So is Ukraine using American tax dollars to kill American journalists? An American just died in custody in Ukraine. An American journalist died in the prison colony of Ukraine. Nobody seems to care about that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are finding out that apparently Zelensky was a part of an assassination plot to use an IED on Tucker Carlson's vehicle. Again, this is the video. You can watch it for yourself. You can check it out for yourself. This is the original reporting right here. The plan was to attach this IED to Tucker Carlson's motorcade. Tucker Carlson visited Moscow in the beginning of February to interview Russian President Putin. Ex-Fox News host said the Biden administration had illegally spied on his text messages and leaked them to the media in order to prevent him from interviewing Putin years ago, but they didn't go this far to actually assassinate Tucker. Tucker Carlson has been added about a year ago to the kill list and a Ukraine website run by the intelligence services of Ukraine. Tucker Carlson is listed as somebody who deserves to die for his sins of questioning how American tax dollars are being spent in the corrupt oligarch-ridden hellhole of Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not a crazy person for questioning that. 60 Minutes was just in Ukraine saying we cannot believe what American money is being spent on.
Taxpayers are financing more than just weapons. The US government's buying seeds and fertilizer for Ukrainian farmers. And the US also funds the divers clearing unexploded ammunition from the country's rivers and covering the salaries of Ukraine's first responders, 57,000 of them. We're surprised to find that to keep it afloat, the US government is subsidizing small businesses.
So you are subsidizing this lady's scarf factory. Remember that when your grandmother can't eat because Social Security doesn't pay enough and you're an American citizen. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, we are getting into dangerous times here, okay? And Tucker Carlson himself has talked assassinations by intelligence agencies. Tucker Carlson himself has on Russian TV been declared an assassination target by those in power because he speaks out so vociferously against the money laundering going on in Ukraine. It's worth stopping here for a second just to explain the extreme smooth brain people out there that doesn't mean that I'm in favor of Russia. It's okay to say that both sides of a conflict are actually evil. In fact, many times in world history, both sides of a conflict are in the wrong. There are often not better angels in war. And so it's perfectly logical to look at a country like Ukraine, which is an undemocratic cesspool and hellhole that suspended their elections, that's clamping down on Christianity, that has utterly destroyed all of their free press and are killing American journalists in custody, and say, yeah, this country is also evil. Russian commentators on state TV are saying that Tucker Carlson, will be assassinated. This was a month ago before this alleged assassination plot.
Ой, кто говорит? На самом деле говорит ходячий мертвец. Потому что после того, как он искренне считает, что следующим шагом после обвинений и попыток импичмента станет убийство Трампа. Но вот этот человек, который сейчас самый популярный англоговорящий журналист, подписал себе смертный приговор. То, что он стремится взять интервью у нашего президента и показать его на платформе, где не будет никакой цензуры, вот этого ему не простят. Поэтому, прикрываясь этой частью, я не исключаю, что в ближайшее время, когда он будет из Европы выбираться, будет либо авиакатастрофа, либо что-то случится с автомобилем, в котором он будет ехать, либо вдруг что-то не то съест, вдруг откажет сердце. Я думаю, что на его месте я бы никому не говорил о своих маршрутах передвижения, потому что уж то-что, а количество смертей неожиданных вокруг семейства Обамы уже давно зашкаливает.
Ladies and gentlemen, what this actually means is that American taxpayer dollars may have gone, because all the money in Ukraine is effectively provided by the American taxpayer, to kill one of their chief critics. You'd have to effectively be on drugs to pull off a boneheaded, dumb plot like that. But, well, based on recent footage of Volodymyr Zelensky, we think that's certainly plausible. The reason why they would go after Tucker Carlson, of course, in such a demonstrable way is empirical. Tucker Carlson is the leading voice speaking out against the corruption in Ukraine and against giving people like this more money. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's give this guy $100 billion. there's no way that it would ever be misspent. Tucker Carlson speaking out on his Fox News show, formerly about Ukraine, and he was the sole voice doing so. Remember.
Geniuses declared him a hero. The media, the Congress, the White House, they all love this weird little guy called Sam Bankman-Fried. Do you remember that? Somehow we were reminded of it today when the president of Ukraine arrived at the White House dressed like the manager of a strip club and started to demand money. Amazingly, no one threw him out and said they did whatever he wanted. American taxpayers declared Joe Biden will continue to give Zelensky whatever he demands for, quote, as long as it takes. Tellingly, Biden never specified what it is, as long as it takes to do what? Push the Russian army back to pre-invasion borders? Sounds reasonable. That's what most Americans likely assume, those who are still paying attention. But that is not what Zelensky means, and it is not what he is asking for. Zelensky is demanding regime change in Russia, just like in Iraq and Libya and a long list of other failed states, except this time in the heart of the Eurasian landmass, next door to the entire civilized world. That's what Zelensky has called for repeatedly, and every dollar we send to him goes toward that end. And at this point, he's getting a lot closer to achieving it. So what happens if he, quote, wins? What does the ensuing chaos look like? Thought about that? Who's going to secure the world's largest nuclear arsenal once we help Zelensky topple the Russian government? Who replaces Putin? Strangely, those topics did not come up today, because that wasn't the point. The point of today's visit to Washington was not to make the world more stable or make wise decisions, much less to help America. That's always at the bottom of the list. The point was to fawn over the Ukrainian strip club manager and hand him billions more dollars from our own crumbling economy. It is hard, in fact, it may be impossible to imagine a more humiliating scenario for the greatest country on earth. And we would love to blame Joe Biden for it, but we can't really, not entirely at least. This was bipartisan masochism. The Uniparty is alive and well despite the best efforts of voters, including last month. And if you doubt that it's alive and well, here's a picture of Zelensky that he had taken with a group of elderly Republican senators in Kiev back in May. They stand grinning next to him in their orthopedic shoes, 70-year-old Susan Collins, John Barrasso, John Cornyn, led by their 80-year-old ringleader, Mitch McConnell. 44-year-old Zelensky poses between them in a skin-tight polo shirt, flexing like a weightlifter and trying to look ferocious. They seem awestruck.
Tucker Carlson also not shying away on his new platform, Tucker Carlson Network, for criticizing Ukraine and the obvious Ukraine explosion of the Nord Stream pipeline. Tucker Carlson being the only person who seems to be asking questions about this, which was an obvious intelligence plot, and he talked to Vladimir Putin about it, and that obviously made people very angry.
In this specific case, Putin attacked himself, which is the most evil thing you can do, and therefore perfectly in character for a man that evil. That was their explanation. No one who's paid to cover these things seemed to entertain even the possibility it could have been the Ukrainians who did it. No chance of that. Ukraine, as you may have heard, is led by a man called Zelensky. And we can say for a dead certain fact that he was not involved. He couldn't have been. Zelensky is too decent for terrorism. Now, you see him on television, and it's true you might form a different impression. Sweaty and rat-like, a comedian turned oligarch, a persecutor of Christians, a friend of BlackRock. But don't believe your own eyes. Actually, Mr. Zelensky is a very good man. The best, really. As George W. Bush once noted, he is our generation's Winston Churchill. Of all the people in the world, our shifty, dead-eyed Ukrainian friend in the tracksuit is uniquely incapable of blowing up a dam. He's literally a living saint, a man in whom there is no sin. That's why Lindsey Graham is so attracted to him.
And of course, my favorite line of questioning from Tucker Carlson on Ukraine, when he ended Mike Pence's career, when Mike Pence thought he could hilariously run for president, this clip is a true career ender. Watch.
Promised them 33 Abrams tanks in January. I heard again 2 weeks ago in Ukraine, they still don't have them. We've been telling them we'll train their F-16 pilots, but now they're saying maybe January we'll let somebody transfer some jets.
I'm sorry, Mr. Vice President, have you, I know you're running for president. You are distressed that the Ukrainians don't have enough American tanks. Every city in the United States has become much worse over the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Drive around. There's not one city that's gotten better in the United States. And it's visible. Our economy has degraded. The suicide rate has jumped. public filth and disorder and crime have exponentially increased, and yet your concern is that the Ukrainians, a country most people can't find on a map, who've received tens of billions of U.S. tax dollars, don't have enough tanks. I think it's a fair question to ask, like, where's the concern for the United States in that?
Well, it's not my concern.
So yeah, I'm going to say there's a motive, at the very least, for Ukraine to wish to assassinate Tucker Carlson. We'll see if there is any further information that comes out on this, but this is properly terrifying. I mean, the photos and all. Remarkable. Is the money that went to pay for this plot actual American tax dollars? Did the American government effectively fund the potential assassination of an American citizen and journalist? Ooh. Oh, man. It's getting dark. Watch yourselves out there, ladies and gentlemen. Scary world. And pray for those who are telling the truth. It has seldom or ever in my lifetime been a more dangerous time to do so. However, the truth shall set you free. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, and salt heals the wound. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See you.